Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to quickly make this video on relationships and why is it that some of them last, otherwise some of them end, they get over. Uh, the reason is in astrology is pretty simple. A soul contract gets signed and that soul will come into your life to extract or give whatever is owed, and when the balance sheet tallies, the transaction is complete. Usually these relationships fade away because there was no other purpose of that relationship otherwise. Now that does not mean that there won't be any happy moments or light moments, and it won't always be a painful thing. There will certainly be, when it is a transaction we are talking about, both people are on the receiving and giving end of it. And how it eventually ends is when you basically realize that okay, whatever time period was spent, this is the things I learned and these are the things I did not, and all of this has happened, and now the relationship simply cannot hold me. The container is too small for the person I've become now. I've grown and maybe that other person has not, or they have chosen their own direction and I cannot follow them over there, neither can they. So it ends. How astrologically we time these endings? First is, there is a concept called Khara Navamsha. This is the Navamsha that technically falls into your 8th house, calculated precisely 210 degrees from your rising degree. So for instance, someone is 6 degrees Leo ascendant. When they were born, the rising sign on the east was 6 degree Leo. When you add 210 degrees to it, whatever sign you arrive and whatever nakshatra in that sign you arrive, whenever Saturn and Ketu transit through that nakshatra, an ending happens. These are not the relationships technically that belong to the next chapter of your life. These are relationships that have run its course, and now they are basically, you are being asked to let them go. Now, some people let it go with grace. They thank the other person for whatever they taught them, the good moments, the happy moments, they accept their lessons, and that is how they move on. For some other people, there is bitterness, there is a need for revenge, for anger, blame games, playing the victim, pointing the finger. These are people who inevitably stay stuck in that cycle. The suffering prolongs. And sometimes, when both people stay bitter on their own private ends, the dynamic repeats again. In another lifetime, the souls will meet again, because this time the parting has to be mutual. Not mutual in the sense without any hurt. It has to be mutual in the sense both are able to let it go. When you internally accept that it is over, you integrate the relationship with you enough, and that's how you move on with your life. That is something where the karma completely dissolves, at least from your end. You cannot control what the other person does or does not do, but from your end, if you say that okay, these were the good parts to it and these were the bad parts, this is what I learned, and I release this relation, not from the goal of loving that person forever, not from the goal of hating them forever, out of indifference. The goal is that one day I will become indifferent to whatever happened with this person, and I will forget them internally. I will forgive them internally rather. Forgetting is not a goal and that's not something in your control. But you forgive them internally, not externally. If you don't want to, if the person has not asked for forgiveness, you cannot obviously forgive them or anything. But internally, you integrate the relationship enough that you finally let it go. And once that happens, new opportunities, new people come into your life. You never know. Once you close this door, the moment you look back, a new person, a much healthier relationship is just standing at the threshold, was waiting for you to turn around and look at them and build something more productive and healthy with them. This time, it's going to be with much more lessons and maturity that you have accumulated from the previous relationship. And at the same time, if the relationship is about growth, you step into it, and not with the purpose of deleting that other person, or as a simple ritual of moving on, as using the other relationship as a placeholder or something, because you genuinely feel the need to let it go and belong to someone who can contain and welcome all of you, not just tolerate you. Anyways, like I was saying, when Ketu or Saturn, because they separate, when they are transiting from this Khara Navamsha, when they transit over your moon, there are separations that happen. Separations that are needed. There are people in your life who cannot bring you any kind of growth, who probably are internally insecure or jealous of you, and you are not willing to let them go out of attachment, out of familiarity, out of safety that you once felt with that person. It's important that at this point you realize that that safety belonged to the past or was an illusion forever to begin with, and you let it go. The easily you let it go, the more Saturn welcomes you, the more Saturn gives path to your growth. Otherwise, if you stay stuck in that cycle, keep going back, Saturn is going to make it difficult for you every next time you go back. So this is something, a short video about relationships and their ending and how they should ideally be processed using the framework of astrology. One very important thing over here is astrology doesn't ever give you the free pass that okay, we met and I did something to hurt you and this must be your karma. That is not how astrology works, and it is used as a bypass mechanism by a lot of people to avoid taking accountability. That is not what astrology is. Astrology, there is always free will. Whatever you do to another person is your own responsibility and gets added to your own karma. Sooner or later the bill will arrive. For the person on the receiving end of it, they can understand it through the point that this person was not safe enough for me, and the universe was kind enough to show that to me in this particular manner. This was harmful and hurtful today, yes, but it protected me from so much pain that could have come my way had I stayed. There is only a specific threshold till which you can turn back and leave. There is a Japanese saying, as they say, that the longer you stay in the train that is going in the opposite direction to where you want to go, the more time it takes to come back home. So if the metro has stopped, might as well get out of it and catch the right metro, even if it feels unfamiliar, even if it feels more crowded, new, unknown. You never know if that metro gets you home. So that's it for this video. Thank you.